right. Look, I was just sitting there going like crazy. But you all see how my morning is starting off. But happy new day. I'm going with new day now because to me, it's like every day is new. Every day gives us another opportunity for us to for real just start off fresh and to have new mercy and to have new grace. And I am telling you, like right now, I'm just sitting here. I just took my hat off and everything, and I'm just trying to gather myself for a moment. But right, I'm just trying to gather myself. But and it relates to today's message too. It really does. I'm just gonna tell you right now, like, oh my goodness. First of all, this is my message. In the Bible, I don't know if people pay attention to it, but in the Bible, it actually says like, don't get up here and say like, "Oh, God told me to tell you this," or like this is directly from Him. It's like it's scripture that says that, like, don't ever do that. He's like, it's coming from your mouth. This is your message, whatever. Like this is coming from your mind. This is you. So make sure that you doing what you're supposed to do with that. And yeah, so this is my message for the day. um and it always resonates with what's going on in my life, but pretty much I'm just going to say, like, although I was talking about the message the other day of love being not self-seeking, so not selfish, I want to make sure I'm clear when I'm putting this out there. That does not mean that you don't tend to yourself. Okay. So while love is saying like, oh, it's not self-seeking, like that ambitious type, self-ambitious, not caring about other people and stuff, it's still saying you need to be caring about yourself too. Right? Like we can't love on someone else or others if we are not loving on ourselves. And I think it's one of those things like the phrase with the airplane where it's like, make sure that you put the mask on your face first before you're putting it on other people. And it's like, yeah, because if you don't have yourself together, you're not going to be your best for everybody else around you. And so understand that although the message the other day was about love not being self-seeking, it not being this selfish type where, you're thinking of yourself in that way, it's saying unhealthy. Right? Like unhealthy way is to be selfish and to only be thinking about yourself and to only be caring about what your ambitions are or what's going to impact you. But to for real be loving on others, you have to know how to love on yourself before you can do that for other people. And so for today's message, I'm really kind of circling around that because I was having a conversation recently and we were talking about, like, man, tend to your own house first. What have you, like, tend to your own house. And of course, in this world, that seems surface, as I'm saying it, like a physical place or, with amongst your own family. But it's like not just that, because that's important too, but it's saying our temple. Like this is our temple, this is our home. And so this is what made me really think about like how I eat and like what I do as far as getting enough rest or eating certain things to give me energy, exercising and stuff like that, because it's about for real preserving your temple and taking care of what God has given you. So if you're out here exerting yourself or like really stressing your body to the max, whether that means mentally, whether that's emotionally, whether that's physically, it's like, take care of your temple. Take care of that. Right? So with today's message being about for real, like tending to ourselves, making time for ourselves, making ourselves a priority. Okay. It's a difference between, I guess, thinking only of yourself and making yourself a priority, right? Just because you make yourself a priority does not mean that you're not considering other people and that you're not caring for other people, but it's saying you are important too. You are human too. You are a person just like everybody else is. And what you got going on in your life matters. And what's going on with your, plans and things like that, it's important. Your health is important, just like everybody else's. And so while we were having this conversation, about like just our general wellness, I was like, man, we need to talk about this because seriously, sometimes we get so caught up in different roles that we may have, whether it's in a family, whether it's, within a certain workplace or, organization and all that. And we're carrying so much, right? You all know I used to teach formally, right? Like I used to be an English teacher. And it's just like, yeah, you really can get caught up, especially if you're passionate about different things and you care about people. And I say in any profession, I keep ending up in, professions where it's dealing with people. And it's like, you have to really, like put in work when you're dealing with people and when you're dealing with, just the public in general, because everybody has emotions, everybody has, things going on in their life. And so, hold on. Let me make sure. I don't want you all to cut off on me, so hold on. I told you today, I'm having all types of stuff going on today. But I am going to get the task done, right? Because this is something that's from me. This is, something that I'm called to do. So this is what I'm doing. But pretty much, like I was saying before, like in any of those professions, like you for real are giving a lot of yourself, a lot of it. And if you're not taking the time to for real recognize that you are a priority too, it's really going to impact the work that you're doing with others. It really is. And at the end of the day, it'll end up being where not only you can't help them, but you can't help yourself. Right? Like now you sitting up somewhere. And so it's one of those things where, like, seriously, I know we're starting off the new year, and although we're towards the end of the year, we're, end of the year. I know we're towards the end of the month. I told you all what type of morning I'm having, but we getting this message out because it's important. We're towards the end of the month. Get to a place for real where you are a priority. You are important. I don't care whose feelings it's gonna hurt. I don't care what a person might want. You are a priority too. You are important too. And if you play around and you don't take that into consideration, like sometimes people will take advantage of that. Right? Like how many times have we been in situations where, you doing stuff and then individuals will be like, oh, well, they'll always do it. Like they'll do that. They'll do this and they'll do that. Yeah, they'll always say yes. And it's like, it's getting to that place for real where it's like setting up boundaries and being able to for real carve out that time for yourself and, taking that mental health time for yourself or those wellness, opportunities for yourself to for real recharge and to seriously tend to yourself, right? Like I'm being so real. Like I'm telling you, I've been in so many different aspects of things where, I've mentored, I've coached, I taught, what's the other stuff I done did? Been kind of like a personal assistant, a nanny, and it's like all these different things, these different roles where I'm dealing with people. As much as I love them, like I love dealing with people, it's like I am important too. I am a priority too. What things that I want in my life and for my life, they are important too. And I think sometimes we think about like, oh, well, it's like they're placing themselves on the back burner. It's like, don't look at it like that, right? Like you are important. Make yourself a priority. That does not mean that you cannot help people. That does not mean that you cannot be there for people. It just means that you're a part of the equation too. So now you're going to have to, manage some things a little bit differently because now you're including yourself in that, right? And believe it or not, this is love. Right? Like this is love. That's why I was like, let me clear it up because I know the other day I was talking a lot about love not being self-seeking, where it's just like, okay, what do I want? What am I trying to do for my life? What is important to me? But it's more of a for real, a healthy, right? Because that's unhealthy when you only caring about yourself and being conceited and not caring about how your actions impact others and what's going on in their world. But when it gets to a place for real where you are making yourself a priority, that is healthy. That is a healthy thing, and that's actually something that is not all that common. It's very uncommon for that to be happening because a lot of times, whether you're in specific roles, like I said before, it could be in a family, whatever role that you have, or at a job, you always think like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, or it's not going to get done, or I have to do this, I have to do this, or it's going to, harm this person, type of thing. And it's like the world is still going to continue to turn. Right? When I was younger, it took me some time to realize that, like, if I'm not there, the world is still gonna turn. What have you? Like, if I'm not doing this and that, like, the world is still gonna turn. They're gonna figure out how things are gonna work, But sometimes we get so stuck in that type of mindset that it'll have us for real putting ourselves on the back burner. And that's the message for today, for real. Like, do not do that. Make yourself a priority. You are important too. Right? And especially with us, starting off this new year. And I know a lot of us have made these New Year's resolutions. A lot of us are trying to make these changes and be consistent with it, right? Biblically, okay, because you always know I got some type of biblical reference. It says, be steadfast in all your ways. Basically, be intentional. Be purposeful. Be out here diligent in that, right? That stuff is important. Don't think that everybody else around you is so important that you not. You get what I'm saying? Like, that is so not the case. And so as we were having this conversation recently, I'm like, yeah, you have to tend to your own home. Like, tend to your temple, for real. Make sure that that's intact, especially as we, are going into this new year and we're trying to, whatever it is, do what God is calling us to do, be at our best. Right? Whether that's in our health, whether that's in our finances, whether that's in, our studies, if people are in school, or if you're, doing something, a project or what have you, we want to be at our best. Make yourself a priority. That's important, right? So as much as you are loving on other people and being there for other people, make sure that you're there for yourself. Right? Like, that's the message for the day. Make yourself a priority. And then also, for the scripture of where I got it from, I'm in Proverbs. You all know that's my favorite book. I am in, or one of my favorites. I'm in Proverbs 4:26, and it says, and I really want to read more than that, but I'm just going to read that one. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Okay, that part. Okay, be very intentional when you are doing things. And I want to ask, like, in reflection, is that happening in your world? Is that happening? For real. And even for myself, I have to stop and sit back and be like, yeah, I'm trying to make sure. I just told somebody that yesterday, like, yeah, I'm trying to make sure my mind is right. I'm trying to make sure my body is always moving. I'm trying to make sure my spirit is covered and protected. I'm trying to make sure my heart is in a good condition, like, nonstop, whenever stuff is going on. And if you ever get to a place where that's not happening, like, seriously, if you're not taking care of your temple, that's how we get in those places where we're upset, or where we're short with people, or where we're angry, or, where we're all these different things, because you're not tending to yourself. Make sure that you are making yourself a priority, wherever that looks like. Whatever it looks like. Sometimes I go to the spa. Sometimes I'm going just because, it's a thing I do. It's enjoyable because I'm very preventable. I don't even want to get to a point where it's like I am just so stressed out, or I'm so, where it's like now I'm going because it's like I need to tend to it right now. But, what have you. But I like it to be preventable, where it's a lifestyle. I already put things in place so that it's a routine of things I do to keep myself in a good, balance, so that I don't even get to those moments where it's like, oh, this is just too overwhelming. This is just too much for me. But if you don't have enough self-awareness to know that, or, you're not in a place where you're making yourself a priority to even get that self-awareness, that's how we get to those spaces where it's just like, oh my goodness, I am just to the max. Oh my goodness, I am just on E. Oh my, like, type of thing. And I'm serious. Like, when you get to those places, people think they're doing so much because, oh, I need to do this, or I have to do this. But it's like, understand that if you're not at your best, you cannot do your best. And if you truly caring for those around you, or you're truly caring for whatever it is, role that you're in and what tasks you do, it's like you want to make sure you're giving it your best. So tend to yourself. Tend to yourself. Right? Carve that time out for yourself. Boundaries. set up some boundaries and maintain them. Okay. Some people don't know like the different, ways to go about doing it, but I encourage you, like, go talk to someone professional, or go talk to someone who you can get this insight from, to help you for real. Make yourself a priority. It is so very important when we're dealing with other people, and that's all the time. Right? As much as I talk about, compassion kind of, fields like roles and industries, I'm still talking about in general. There's not a single person in this world that does not have to deal with other people. And whenever you're doing that, like, you for real need to have yourself at your best, because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with other people's emotions. And we know sometimes it's even challenging to deal with our own emotions, our own mind, our our own heart, our own struggle. So it's like now you having to deal with other people. Like, it's important, right? Make yourself a priority and don't feel guilty about it ever. Right? I think that's the part when we say I'm putting myself on the back burner, but if I take this time for myself, if I do this, if I take time off, if I go here, if I do, and it's like, no, you are a priority too. You are a person too. What you want for your life matters, and understand and believe that. That's what I heard the other day, and I'm like, facts. Like, God don't want us out here living a life that we not okay with. So he wants us to be at our best. So you have to take it upon yourself to make yourself a priority. Right? Like, as much as we love to help other people, and as much as we love to be there for other people, you got to do it for yourself first before you can do it for other people, or you're going to end up burning yourself out, or you're going to end up not being able to even do for them or yourself. Right? So this was the real talk for today. The message for real is very needed to start off the new year. Like, make sure that you are tending to your temple. Make sure you're being steadfast in all your ways, meaning be intentional and be purposeful in what you do. Right? And make sure this is healthy now. Make sure for real that you are loving on yourself. Can't love on other people if you're not loving on yourself first. Right? So not so much of keep yourself first. Like, I'm not saying that. Right? To me, that's unhealthy. I'm saying make yourself a priority. That's different. Make yourself a priority where you're just as important as everybody else around you and everybody else that you're tending to. Right? All right. So that's where I'm going to leave you all for the day. I hope that, you all's morning started off a lot better than mine. It was just like all over the place because I woke up late. But hey, that is why, with me preserving my temple, that's how I got to a place where it's like, oh yeah, I need this sleep, I need this water, I need to eat right, I need to be exercising, I need to be, taking time for myself. I need to be smiling and laughing more. I need to be enjoying my life because my temple is important, and I'm trying to preserve it for as long as I am walking this earth. So, okay, that's how I got to that point where even though, you go through trials and tribulations, even though you go through things that may be challenging and all that, like, no, I'm still keeping my peace. I'm still keeping my joy. And yes, I'm still going to be keeping myself up because I care about the temple God has given me. Okay? Like that part. And hopefully it can be a blessing for all those. What's that scripture? May I be a blessing on all occasions. Okay? So it's something to think about for the day, something to chew on, and especially for us starting off the new year. Make yourself a priority and don't feel guilty about it. Okay? Like, seriously, don't be in that place. You are just important as everybody else, and don't let nobody else make you think different. God gave you a temple just like everybody else, and you tend to that, take care of it, and then go out there and show somebody else how to do it. Right? All right, so I'm going to leave you all with that for the day, and I shall talk to you all another time. Bye.